so much cheese. Speaking of rat girl, the cheese, the cheese. Oh, I should have had a cheesy snack. Do I have to start? Cause our rat girl doesn't have a name, and maybe I will choose a name that's not on this list, or you guys can recommend a name for dear rat girl. The titular rat girl. And I think as we go, I'll probably update her little portrait here. I also realized I don't have like a little dice tray for making sure my dice don't fall off of the desk and become lost in the world of my room. So that's probably a little project I should take on. But for now, I think it might be reasonable to just use the box that I keep the dice in as my dice tray, and I will just have them loose on my desk. Is that a better solution? Alright, so I, in the background, have a couple of little tables I've made just to kind of fill in the world. Because I wanted my own setting. So, off stream, I made up a name for kind of where we're going to start our adventure and the kind of place it is. So the name of our starting location, where we find, and I don't know how big a place it is because my character here is going to be very small, but we are starting in the town of Boskets Banks, which is a very dreary, gloomy, lots of wet stone and drooping plants growing out of cracks. As it's always kind of, I imagine, eternally overcast here in Boskets Banks. And like I said before, I've been inspired. The vibes I want are Little Nightmares and Labyrinth. Specifically the parts of Labyrinth where it's like actually going through the labyrinth and the weird little tunnels and windy ways. Because I love that. I love that kind of stuff. But Boskets Banks is a town. But it's just a little quirky. So that's where we find ourselves. Home to a bakery with famous buttery biscuit bites. But, so, our gal here, our who, what, I know what she's about. We mentioned last time, we discussed last time, that our rat girl here is a would-be warlock, and kind of her starting goal is to find a warlock patron. Thanks for the trophy. Alright, so Boskets Banks. Who is our rat girl? I made a table, a very wonky table, of 100 names. And I'll also use this for like figuring out NPC names. Because I think everyone from Boskets Banks, there's a similar vibe. There's a similar street urchin, crusty gloom to everything there. But I also have little inspirations of like sewing in plants. So I think to start, unless you guys want to chime in with what you think would be a good name for our gal, and maybe I'll like roll to make a full name. I'm going to roll 3 times, and we'll see if I like it. We'll see. All right, but now I gotta get all my 10s die. Yeah. Do I have enough to roll? I mean, probably. Yeah. Okay. High stakes, I know. Want to move it so you guys can see. Okay. Well, how am I gonna different? I realized now, it's not like I'm rolling for one big number. How am I going to differentiate? All right. I'm just gonna treat one of those like it's a regular D10. So I'm going to say 51. I still want to roll them individually so they don't feel left out. Is that 2 and a 5? 79? No, you're 5. 75. All 5s. Okay. Ratchet that feels very appropriate because she's Rat Girl, Ratchet, and Rat is just a nickname. So Silk Purslane Ratchet. I feel like Purslane works as a last name. The Silk, I might just get rid of the Silk because I think Ratchet Purslane, which I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that word correctly. Ratchet, Rat, Purslane. I like it. All right, so I'm just gonna. But her name is Ratchet. That's really perfect. Ratchet, Rat, Purslane. Maybe the silk element is more kind of maybe what she does. So what if she is a silk moth minder? She helps raise the caterpillars so that they can get nice and big and eventually make their cocoons, which then go on to be harvested. But instead of the little silk moth larva being like this big for Ratchet, they're like cow size. It's like raising livestock. And I don't think she like has a farm. I don't think she like has her own space where she does it. She's an employee at some kind of, I'm imagining more like a factory setting, because there isn't a lot of like wide open natural spaces. They wouldn't have something like farmlands in Bosket Banks. So I'm just going to say grub minder. That's what she does. She's a grub minder looking for a warlock patron. I don't know why. Sometimes I just capitalize things because it's like reminding myself this is important. So, Ratchet Purslane works as a grub minder. Where does Ratchet live? Where is she coming from? I also have a couple of tables here, which, if folks are interested, I could post somewhere. But let's see how this goes. Okay. So, where does she live? A quaint cottage outside the big city. No, there's no cute cottage core locations here. She could live in the sewer. She could live on or under a bridge, on the rooftop, on the wall, the canal, the stacks. We just have some general locations here in Bosket Banks. Oh, I'm not going to count that one because it didn't land in the box. All right, so a 2, she lives. Does she live on the bridge or under the bridge? I think it's much more moody if she lives under the bridge. She's a little troll living under the bridge. Lives under a bridge. It's not the bridge, so I shouldn't capitalize it. But it is a bridge. She's a little creature living under a bridge. So it just kind of aligns with why she maybe is. That's no fun. No. But it aligns with why would this person want to change their circumstances? If she lived somewhere cozy, if she had a, stable, pleasant work, and she had somewhere nice to live, she probably wouldn't be thinking about making a pact with some kind of supernatural entity. She'd probably just be like, yeah, I'm gonna go buy bread. But Ratchet, not having the best time, working as a grub minder, living under a bridge. A little troll that forwards people's screamer videos. Now that's out of the way. Alright, we have our bridge dwelling rat girl. She's trying to find a warlock patron. Somehow she has come to the conclusion that the thing that's really gonna get her out of her circumstances is finding a supernatural entity to make a pact with. For whatever reason, Ratchet thinks this is what's going to get her out of her current circumstances and into a better one. Why that is? Maybe there's stories of warlocks in Bosket Banks who made a deal with Bagagua. It's not Bagagua. Don't summon Bagagua. Just a wild little seal point growling creature. Rawr. Charles. Don't summon Bagagwa. How are we going to find either information, a map, a location, something that will get Ratchet closer to finding a source of magic? Right, where's my keyword? I have a 100 keyword table as well. I was trying to make a bigger one, but I was like, let's just do 100 to start, or just starting. You don't need to like go all in before you've even started. But I'm going to roll another 3d100, or maybe 2. Let's start with 2 and see where that leads us. Also, I don't know how many folks are familiar with solo roleplay. It's a lot of this. It's a lot of rolling on tables and consulting the die in place of relying on a dungeon master. Oh wait, do I not have a dark purple? Oh, I guess I only have the one dark purple D10. Unless it's lost somewhere, which is also entirely possible. My hypothesis is Charles is Bagagwa in mortal flesh. Oh. It's like how a supernatural entity will appear as something benign in order not to frighten the common folk. Charles approaches from on high or below, because I feel like Bagagwa has kind of a demonic element. He's trying to lure poor Merv into dark deeds with his shirtless gardening. All right, so that's a 71. But all right, that is an 18. So 71 and 18. What does that give us? Sick. Sick. Sick night. Night sick. Did she like suffer a terrible fever while living under the bridge because it's cold and wet? Night sickness can only travel in daylight? Oh, that's an interesting idea too. Is there reverse vampire? The reverse vampire, the Eripmath? The Eripmath? Alright, but what if she got like really sick living under the bridge? She had this terrible fever, and in that fever she had these dreams, these visions. So that's why it's not so much maybe that, you know, she paid any mind to any talk about town, about warlocks and how they all do their business. It was this fever that struck that gave her these weird, strange visions of some kind of entity. So it's all terrible fever dreams. Under bridges do get quite cool and wet, moldy in the darkness. She could have lung condition and traveling to find a cure. That could also be that, like, maybe she's she's sick, and she's hoping that finding whatever this being, maybe before even, improving her circumstances long term, she's hoping for a cure for whatever this bridge sickness is, what I'm gonna call it. And it's probably just like mold lung, but I like the term bridge sickness. She got that bridge sickness, yo. She's looking for something that can cure this terrible. She's got that crunchy cough, which I shouldn't try and mimic because then I will just end up genuinely coughing, and I don't want to do that. Excuse me. So let me write down my oracle here, where it's a d20. A 1 or a 2 is no, and I could write bigger, but it's a priority here. A 3 to 7 is just a flat no. 8 to 9 is a no, but a 10 is a maybe. 11 to 12, yes, but 13 to 18, just a flat yes. And 19 to 20, yes, and so for my first oracle question, I'm going to ask, I'm going to ask, is she alone? And then I'm going to ask, is the sickness because of some kind of magic influence? Is Ratchet alone on this quest? That's a 5. I did not roll it in the box. The whole point of the box. But 5 is a no, so she's not alone. So we'll figure that out in a second. 5. Alright, this one I'll roll in the box. She's not alone. Is the source of the sickness magical? Okay. I think that's a yes. Just a flat yes. Okay. Yeah. All right. So 13 is a yes. All right. Well, then I'm going to go off of Fox's idea and ask, is it something being dumped into the water? All right. Is something being dumped into the water / canals? Okay. Something being... Oh, also a hydrate. 17 is, I think, still just a yes. Okay. So something is being dumped into the water that is causing some kind of reaction that is leading to this sickness. Would it be something as direct as like a wizard dumping potion materials? Or would it be some kind of magical creature that itself is sick in the water? It's wizard. Those damn wizards always dumping their stuff. Could be residual magic that powers the lights in the topside city. Actually, as an aside, that's a good plot line. There you go. If any of the ideas we come up with today, well, at least I'll speak for myself. Any of the ideas I come up with today, you guys think are neat and want to use in your own games, go for it. Just because it's all inspiration, right? It was like, oh, that is a good. It's like the Phoenix Forge from last time, or the Forge Phoenix. It was like, oh, that actually would be a cool idea. Go for it, take it. All right. Ratchet and somebody else are going to see about this magically affected disease, sickness. And part of that is relying on the dreams she's had from the fever of this sickness. I think the first thing, though, going backwards, so Ratchet has a buddy with her. Now, is this a fellow citizen of Boskets Banks, or is this like maybe she's got a little pet, a little creature of her own? Like, are we gonna be coming up with another character basically, or is it more just like a neighbor who's coming along for this, or is it like a little creature? I'm inclined, because she is kind of this scrappy little bridge dweller, I'm imagining more so that she has like some kind of little buddy, some kind of little creature, little animal that she's taking with her. So I'm going to roll on the oracle again just to see, is she going with a person, or is she going with a little creature? Animal companion is usually a much more understandable early on the thing, yeah. But I want to do the likelihood thing as well to bring that in. So, it's also a matter of like how to phrase your questions so you know how to answer them with the die. So my question is Ratchet traveling with a pet? And using the likelihood modifier, I'm going to say it's highly likely, which gives us a +5 to our D20 roll. So I'm going to put highly likely +5. Is it wrong that I think it should be a little stone or iron construct and dumbly go with the name Clank? Aw. No, that's not dumb. Alright. Oh, that's a 7. +5 would be yes, but. Okay, so 12. Yes, but. Yet, what would the but be? Yes, but she gets separated at some point. Oh. Like, she started out with this little thing, but it ran away at some point. So I'm gonna, yes, but we'll say it ran off. So should probably be something capable of running. Or just a matter of maybe it gets stolen, it gets taken away. All right, what kind of pet does Ratchet have? I could come up with something because I have an idea, but I also like rolling dice, so I want to roll and go back to our keywords. I'm gonna roll twice on the keywords table and see if I don't get anything I like on the keywords table. I'll either go with my idea that I have already, or I'll steal Fox's idea. So I need my D10s. Oh, okay. A friendly mimic, but she took it to the light. Oh, like it's a... Is it a book mimic? Okay, let's see. That's a 9. Okay. It turned into a book and boom. No idea where it is. Another 9. 60. Nice. Don't tell me. Nice. Yes. All right, a 9 and a 69. So, nice. So it's nice, whatever it is, which is good. 9 sight. Nice sight. So it could be something that looks good, or it's something that could have good vision. Something that helps her see. A book bag mimic that holds some supplies. Something happens and she sets it down, or a pilferer snatches and then she's separated that way. She has a mimic familiar that takes the form of a spell book. She also dresses like a stereotypical old man wizard, puts on voice. Hello! Oh, that makes me think of Page Master. I wonder how well that movie holds up. I watched it a ton as a kid. Like the kid from Hell's... Oh, cute. Alright, so nice sight. I didn't write the sight part down. So my idea for nice sight... I do have an idea that I like for this, where it's a helpful little creature. It's like a little candle creature, so it helps her see in the dark. But I think it's not that it ran away. I think that he went out. So it's like partway through, she had this little candle friend to help light her way, and then either the wind or the wet extinguished them. And it doesn't mean that they're dead, it just means that they're kind of like asleep, basically. And she needs to find a match in order to relight her little candle creature. I'm just gonna draw a little candle friend. It's just like a little guy hanging out in one of those old-timey candle holders that like Scrooge would be carrying around. Like a little Litwick, but less evil. So here's our little candle friend. That she's, going through a lot of wet, drippy ways, lots of opportunities for water to drip down or splash up onto her little candle friend. Glasses creature. Oh, like the kind of glasses bird from the Alice in Wonderland animated movie, where it had like the legs of the glasses were like bird's legs and it sat on her face. Like, anyway. All right, so she's got a little candle friend. What I won't necessarily roll on the table for the little candle friend. What's a good name for a little candle creature? A little candle buddy. Alright, but she has this little candle buddy. It helps light her way a little bit, but she's walking through an area. The water drips on him, gets put out. Oh no! Suddenly she's plunged in darkness. Oh. Alright. Plunged into darkness. That's a spooky consequence. It feels like Lumiere is too on the nose. Just be Lumi. Mr. Brightside. Like that one song. Plunged into darkness. I would say, where would it... Probably the sewers. Maybe she was... Because that's like a big source of water as well. That's definitely going to be contaminated. She was exploring the sewers with her little candle buddy. He got dripped on. Suddenly, she's in the sewers. It's very dark in the sewers. I'll draw a little... Not a great situation to find yourself in. Sick, basically alone, in the dark, in a sewer. It's like, no way. So, does she encounter something? Does she fall into the water? Ugh. Is there a creature? Maybe a stormy river under a bridge she has to cross and she gets swept away down the current. Oh! That would be fun. Yeah, I'm gonna say is there a storm? Is the sewer gonna be like extra full of water? That's a 3, which is a no. Just a flat no. So no storm. No. So we'll say she was already kind of in the sewers. That's where the visions kind of led her. And then suddenly our little candle buddy gets extinguished and she is left essentially alone in the dark. Does she encounter another person? Is there someone living down there? Because there are probably people in Boskets Banks who live in the sewers. Does encounter another person? Does she encounter another person? Encounter? I hardly know her. Okay, that's not quite a yes and, but it's a solid yes. Okay. So sometimes I'm gonna roll in the box and sometimes I'm just gonna roll on the page. All right, important question. Are they friendly? I'm gonna leave that to a 50-50 as well. Maybe she's about to get mugged. Maybe there's a nice sewer dweller that's gonna help her out. We'll see. No. Oh, an 8. I believe an 8 is a no. It's a no, but. No, but. They'd have no but. They aren't friendly, but maybe how do you live with no but? Some people do. They're not friendly, but they're not gonna attack her. Like, they're not really gonna help, but they're not gonna bother her either. Or they do want to try and attack her, but she hears them coming and she's able to try and hide. Blair Buttless Wolf VT. I have a butt, I'll have you know. I do squats and things. How dare you? They're indifferent to her, but they're intimidating regardless. Yeah. Here, I'm going to do a different roll to get a sense of this person. I have an NPC, and you will notice something. Banks resident features. I put 30 of them here. I do not have a 30 dice. I do not know if a 30 dice exists. How am I going to roll this? Do I roll a 20 and a d10? I feel like I'm getting confused in my head. Die is the plural of dice, right? I feel like I've been using it incorrectly. Yes. Right. I'm picking up a different dice. A group of die. All right. So let's see. That is... Well, I just moved it, didn't I? All right, let's roll again. That's the thing. It's like when I want to try and angle it up so you guys can see, and then I move the box. Try that again. Okay, that is... Die is the singular of dice. Okay, it is. So a die is a singular dice. Dice... plural. Ugh, they're so confusing. Also, I think I just picked these up without remembering what the number was. Okay, take 3. All right, 87. 87. That's not... No. No. What it would be is 15, which is long neck. 5 and a 13 is pug nose. Okay. So someone with a long neck and a pug nose living here in the sewer. Not friendly, not helpful, but let me try and draw our long neck pug nose. I'm imagining kind of a wormy character. Maybe it's just like a long-necked pug. Yeah, not. They're a little more creature-ish. Not friendly, but not harmful. Maybe they're just kind of nosy. And Ratchet hears them before she sees them because, 1, it's dark. And 2, they have that snuffly pug breathing. A worm mixed with a star-nosed mole. Just they're almost like one of those garden eels. They're just snuffling about. Ooh, I want to give them a hat. Big eyes or little eyes? Yeah, I think actually. Here. Imagining like little dot eyes kind of in silhouette under this hat. You don't want to properly work, do you? I have another one. Or no eyes and rely solely on the nose. Oh, that could be. They're just this long man. Almost kind of like a ferret. It's this long, kind of ominous person. It's kind of a little unnatural, stooped figure. So I didn't finish. It just says snuff. Snuffling. Snuffles. Snuffling breathing. Maybe Ratchet can just try and follow this person who, if they're down here without a light, or maybe they do have a light, maybe they know their way around better than she does. But maybe she just like follows the sounds of their puggish breathing as she goes through. Here, let's see. Does this person have a name? Shall we come up with a name? Alright, 29. Pretty sure that's a 9. Yeah. 29. This is Cass. Alright, Cass. Does Cass have a light? Does Cass have a light? Oh, that's a 19. So that's a yes and. Cass has a light and maybe some matches or a lighter? Something that she could relight her candle buddy with? Antique lighter. But Cass is not friendly, not helpful. Ratchet is gonna need to be able to trade or do something for Cass in order to get access to that lighter, I think. She's not thinking about this person like showing her the way she needs to go. Cass has their own things to do, but maybe she can trade something or do something, get them something in exchange. An antique Zippo, and the device is super huge for both of their size. Oh yeah, let's look at, I want to see like reference for an old lighter. I'm gonna say Cass doesn't strike me as like having something super duper fancy, which a lot of these are. I like the visual of this one. I think Cass probably has a lighter that's something more like this, but maybe whatever the pit up is a creature that looks a little more like whatever Cass is. So I think just even something little like the kind of lighter somebody carries can inform a lot about them. And yeah, I think Cass has some kind of sexy lady lighter. Now, what does Cass want? how is Ratchet going to convince them? I just wrote, what does want? What does want? What does Cass want? Want. I can spell, I swear. Realizing I'm not entirely sure what given scale everyone. That's true. It's like, is everything big, or are just some things big? I'm gonna say here in the cramped sewers, I'm gonna say Cass's lighter is more proportionate to their person. Alright, but what does Cass want? Going to roll on the keywords table, which I will be referencing a lot, which is why I want to have multiple hundreds. Okay. What does... And I think they are them. I'm not just being vague. Cass strikes me as a non-binary personage. I think Cass is a very gender-neutral nickname. Okay, 81. Oh! Boo! Alright, there's a 3. 23. So, 81, Cage. 23. Cage aim. I don't have an immediate idea for that. Then the aim part. But I'm saying, like, a friend of Cass or some tools could be trapped. Cage aim. They want to find... I could use aim like directive. Their aim is to get to these cages, or cage singular. A cage in making a cave in making a cage of sorts, yes. So something or someone is stuck in a cage. I would say probably a someone. Is stuck in a cage. And if Ratchet will help Cass get this someone out of the cage, they would be willing to lend their lighter, but not before. Okay. So, what does Cass want? They want help freeing someone from a cage. Now, is this cage, is that slang for, like, jail or prison? Or have they been wrongfully captured? Worms can mash through, but a rat is prime suspect to dig through better. True. Alright, I'm going to ask, is this person in jail? Are we going to be doing a jailbreak? A, a sewer jail? Maybe. Oh, that is a 6, which is a no. Okay, so they've been captured by a different force. Knowing I don't have to make the whole thing, it's pretty fun getting to help on the side, improvising points for an overarching thing. Yeah, I love. I mean, sharing ideas when I don't have inspiration. Looking at you guys, it makes it fun. It makes it more of a communal experience. All right, so we're getting someone. So maybe it's just a literal cage. Someone has been captured. I think we might need more keywords for inspiration. Could going through the tunnels make way under the prison space? I mean, I'm sure if it was a full-on prison, it would need to connect to some kind of drainage system. I'm imagining the sewer level of Outlast, which actually that might be, maybe it's someone who is in an asylum. Someone in an asylum who wrongfully or not has been put in this asylum. Cass wants to get them out. That's probably why they're here in the sewers, is that they know some kind of path that they were gonna try and use to get into the asylum to try and get this person out. So maybe what it is, Cass has some kind of accomplice. Cass is maybe, because they're having to break into an asylum, they're into some shady stuff. They have an accomplice or a partner who has some information that they want to get a hold of. And the only way they can do that is by sneaking into this asylum. So they are gonna get Ratchet to help them do this thing. I'm gonna say partner in crime has secret. And what that secret is, I will leave to figure out later. But what we know is that we are trying to get into an asylum. So, what's the name of this asylum gonna be? Maybe some play on Kevorkian, putting pressure that the prisoner might be on a timeline before a more final judgment. Ooh, Kevorkian. Kevorki Sanatorium. I'm gonna say Kevorki Hospital. I like better. Kevorki. So they're breaking into Kevorki Hospital. This seems like maybe a tall order just to use someone's lighter, but I think Ratchet is also kind of lost in these sewers, and maybe at least once she's topside, she'll be able to tell where she is and start over? Who's to say? Hopefully it doesn't go poorly for her. We shall see. Kevroken Sanatorium. I like that. Here. I'm gonna use that. 3rd time's the charm. Alright. Kevroken. Sanatorium. Alright, so how big is this hospital is a question that I will go back to. We have a dungeon size table here in the Solo Adventurer's Toolbox, which is a D20. 1 through 3 is tiny, 4 through 8 is small, 9 through 16 medium, 17 through 18 large, 19 is huge, and 20 is limitless. Hit a gloop. Oh, I did. I'm so scared to go to the sanatorium. Alright. Now, do I want to give myself the opportunity to have a potentially limitless sanatorium to try and explore? I don't think so. So maybe I will also use the likelihood tables. I'm going to say it's unlikely. But yes, right now we're trying to decide how big the dungeon of this sanatorium is going to be. Highly unlikely that this sanatorium is infinite, which is a -5, so that actually makes it impossible. But if we were working with some kind of bonuses. Okay. That's a 16. -5 is 11, which is a medium. Which is a 4d4 plus 6 rooms location. Do I have 4d4? Is now the question. I do. Okay. Oop. But not if they go shooting off the table. Okay. All right. It's a 3, a 2, a 3, and a 4. So that's 7, 10, 12. 12 rooms plus 6. So that is 18 rooms. Woo! That is quite a lot. But easier to search through than infinite or huge, which is 10d6 plus 24 rooms. That is a lot. A mid to large sanatorium. So, with that in mind, let's double check my spelling. Kevrokan. is 18 rooms. Before we roll to find our starting area, it's probably a passage because we're trying to get there from the sewers. Passage, door, or stairs? So I'm gonna roll a d8 actually. And try to remember which one is the d8. It's you. It's like the diamond. And then I'll just have 3 to 4 also be passage. So where do we start? Okay, it is a passage. So some kind of entry. Would it make more sense to start at the bottom? Okay. So then we go to the passage table, which is a d20. 13. A door on the left wall. All right, so there's some kind of passage, an oubliette. It's a place you put people to forget about them. So there's some kind of door. Ratchet and Cass sneak. Here, I'm gonna Ratchet and Cass sneak through the sewers till they reach a passage with a door. Okay. So then, door table is a D100. Oh, that was in a corner, but this is why we use a box. All right, 6. 80. So 86. And if I feel like it doesn't quite fit, I'll just re-roll. Okay. A door composed of elemental energy, such as fire or lightning. I feel like that's probably too fancy. 36 is a locked iron door. All right, so we've got a locked iron door. Does Ratchet have anything to deal with locks? Her work is as a bug minder. Would she have something that would help her open a door? Wi-Fi is what I meant. My brain farted for a second. As long as it's not Snips, I think we're good. Snips! Alright, I'm gonna ask... Does Ratchet have anything helpful? I'm gonna say not likely. So let's just say unlikely, which is a -3. But maybe. That. Okay. That is a 2? No. Don't even need to reduce that. Just no. Although, is that a no and? Ooh. Since it's -3, that's a no and. Okay. No and. Pizza porpoise, you got it. Hang on. What? It's a me, the pizza porpoise. Move myself up a little. Debating on pizza. I wish all delivery places were as friendly as the porpoise. Ugh, if only they had a fun jingle. Come on down to the pizza porpoise. We've got what you need. Come on down to the pizza porpoise, your favorite place to feed your hungry family. Hi everybody, welcome to the pizza porpoise. Today's special is stinky cheese pizza. We've got feta, we've got blue cheese, we've got some stuff that we're not quite sure what it is anymore. It's been in the back for a while. But you know who loves it? Rats. So, Ratchet doesn't have anything helpful, and she doesn't have anything that would be helpful. And she accidentally makes a bunch of noise. Could be shocked by the inside and trips an alarm or something. Could be. Yeah, she trips an alarm maybe. Yeah, I like that better. And she accidentally trips an alarm. It wouldn't have been there if I'd rolled higher, but since we rolled low, trips an alarm. So my next question, does Cass open the door before they are caught? And I'll leave that to a 50-50. Because I think Cass must be into some kind of business, but Ratchet just tripped an alarm, so that is a 9. So that's gonna be a no. But I think it might be a no, but. No, but. No, but. Knocks over a skeleton bro display. So, no but, so Blair, how dare you? Gotta hydrate and protest. I'll say no, but they lie their way. Maybe they say like, oh, we're here to repair the pipes. They lie about who they are, claiming to be maintenance. Okay. So we'll say an orderly or some kind of staff member opens the door, and clearly they're not like patients. They're not wearing any sort of hospital gowns or something. Alright, they lie about who they are, claiming to be maintenance. Which now they've got this orderly with them. Here, I'm going to roll a descriptor, just one descriptor for our orderly here. Maybe we'll be with them longer, but just for flavor's sake. They have to get clip back. Where are you? Oh, here you are. Alright. Just description. Our D20 and D10 is a 0, so just 15. Or do I want to treat it like a 10? They also have a long neck, so maybe I do want to treat it as a 10, which would make it a 25, top heavy. Ooh. Perfect. So we've got top heavy orderly. Is it IE or Y for the job, the position of orderly? Just leave that. So they kind of have like this Dorito shaped orderly, so it's probably like physically imposing. They at least believe them for now, but not someone they're gonna want to tussle with. But at least they're inside. I'll just put you like that. Alright, well, we have our door and our first room, question mark? Let's see. Let's see. Rolling on the table. I'll skip door or open entrance because that seems kind of redundant. $14. This is for a D10. Alright, that's 7. So stairs. Okay. They have some stairs going up. I guess that makes sense. We're going up from the sewers. Stairs. Some of these are down. I don't think it would be below. the likelihood of the stairs being upward stairs is highly likely, so I'm going to add a +5. And that was kind of off, but it ended up being a 10. Oh wait, 1 to 8 is, well, don't mind. Okay, so 15 is up 1 level. Perfect. So up 1 level to a room, add 15 to your room contents roll. Okay. So here are our stairs going up. And let's roll on room then. Just an 8. It is a square. D8 plus 1 times 10 on all sides. I might just futz the sizing on all of this. I'm just gonna make it a square that will fit into this little crevice that I have to work with. There. I'm not gonna worry about footage too much. And then 1d8 exits. Well, it has to have at least 2 in order to get to these other rooms. Also, I'll mark this as room 1. So 6 exits might be a little tricky to fit in here. Let's say maybe there's a little storage closet and a bathroom over on this side. There's a door over here. There's this exit. So that's 4 taken care of. Something over here, something over here. But we'll see. But now we have to figure out the contents of this room. So we roll a D100, add a 15. How wild is this asylum gonna be? Is this gonna be like an Outlast level of trouble? I guess we have to find out. All right, that is a 14. Well, it would only be if it was a 0, 10 that it would be a 100. Or it would be a 100 if I rolled the 0 on this and a 90 on this. Yeah, okay, so I think we're 14 plus 15, 29 gives us a level appropriate hard encounter. Clue, loot, random, secret door, all 30%. Okay. Hard encounter. Now, the Solo Adventurer's Toolbox is for playing basic D&D 5e, which we're not really working with here. Ratchet, as of yet, does not really have any stats, which maybe I'll give her, or maybe we'll just continue on this sort of more nebulous way. Maybe she's only gonna get stats when she actually acquires a warlock patron, because right now she's essentially a commoner, so she'd be working off that. What do you guys think? Should I give her commoner stats? A hard encounter, clue, loot, random, and SD is secret door. I feel like that would be more appropriate, at least at the start. Okay, we'll go grab some commoner stats. Secret door, 30. Okay. Build her into an adventurer, yeah. Alright, so a commoner is just 10s across the board. So let me go back to our first page here and just strength 10, dex 10, con 10, intelligence 10, wisdom 10, charisma 20. No, it's dead. And then, is there like a default thief? I would say rogue, as that's what's usually a thief in most game evolutions, yeah. Just a default rogue for Cass. A roguish gentle person. I don't know if I'd call Cass a gentle person with their saucy lighter and sewer traveling. But they're here. So what would be that hard encounter? Is it just dealing with the orderly? I think that makes sense. Like, as soon as they're in the asylum, Cass is kind of like, okay, let's grab this person and hide them in a closet or something so we can keep going. Also, I'll roll on the clue, loot, random, and secret door after we deal with this orderly here. So it's gonna be a tough encounter. Ratchet is not any kind of fighter. She's been raising silkworms. You know, maybe she has some street savvy, but not to the level of dealing with a person whose job it is to control people physically, to be strong enough to, you know, hold people down so that they take their medicine or whatever the case may be. Donjon.bin.sh/, which I use for a lot of stuff as well. And they have encounter size trackers and random encounter generator, perhaps, is a little more. So we have 2 characters, not player characters. We want hard environments. Is there an option for urban? There is. Well, we could fight 6 other commoners, which in this situation I would imagine as just 6 of the patients here. But I don't think that's it. I think we're dealing with the orderly, which thug I think would be a good stat block to use. So, if our thug orderly... Do I want to give this orderly a name since we're fighting them? You know, maybe we could try and talk this guy down. That's always an option. Will it work? Alright, what is this orderly's name who we are trying to take down in some fashion? So that's a 3. Their name is Clancy Jarvis Riching. So that's probably their last name. But they're wearing some kind of identification, a little name tag that says Riching on it. Riching, the top heavy orderly. I'm gonna draw just like a little symbol for them here, just so you could see this is where this encounter is happening. There he is. There's our fella. The upside down Dorito. So who's gonna go first? Roll for Ratchet. That's a 19, so it might be Ratchet. She's got no modifiers as of yet. Cass would have a +3, so that's a 17. Cass. And then Riching. What do thugs have? I was looking at backgrounds, concept art from Little Nightmares. Is this Little Nightmares 2 or 1? I think this is Little Nightmares 2. There. So I'm imagining those are some of our vibes. The vibes. Thug does not have, or Riching rather, does not have any modifiers either, so their 15 is just a 15. But dang, everyone rolling pretty high for initiative. But that has Ratchet going first. How is Ratchet going to approach this upside down Dorito? She's already way in over her head. She's trying to find some kind of spirit in the sewers. Now she's found herself wrangled into breaking someone out of an asylum. Her first instinct is not gonna be to try and like jump onto this guy and smother him. I think her first instinct is just going to be trying to talk her way out of the room. So I'm going to say I think in her mind, they're already in the asylum. She's gonna be hoping that, like, maybe that's enough. She definitely doesn't want to start a fight. And maybe she could find something to light her little candle buddy if Cass can't be relied upon. But I'm going to say persuasion, or would it be deception? Not that it really matters because she doesn't have any bonuses and stats. But I'll just say she's going to be like, oh, I need to go check something in the bathroom because that's why we were in the sewers. We're checking the pipes. So I'm going to roll a 13. A 13 deception check. Is that going to be enough to convince Riching? Meanwhile, all I can think of is incinerator or cremation. No, don't go in there. Don't go in that one. Against intelligence or wisdom, Riching doesn't have any modifiers. Both of those are 10s, so I'm just going to roll a contested. That's a 4. So he looks at this ratty little person. Sure, yeah, go check out the bathroom. So I'm gonna say Ratchet excuses herself to hide in the bathroom. Okay. Next up is Cass then, who is going to try and like subdue this thug non-lethally, I think. So I guess that would kind of be like a grapple. Doesn't have a great strength though. Maybe just knocking them out with the butt. Oh yeah, sure. Go ahead. I'm imagining for Riching looks like one of the brothers from Rock and Rule. The guys that worked for Mock the villain. Don't remember their names. The Schlepper brothers, yes. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Yeah. Not a movie that stood the test of time, but I like it. I think it's fun. Yeah, these guys. Although, so imagine one of these guys, but in an orderly uniform. Alright, I'm going to roll an attack for Cass with just a 5, probably not great. So I'm just going to say Cass lunges at the orderly, but misses. Alright, so now Riching has confirmation that at least Cass is bad news. One can probably infer that whoever he was with, or whoever they were with, also not trustworthy. Which, so Riching is going to respond with force. Now, I don't think Riching actually has a weapon on him. Maybe a club? Oh, but it could be an opportunity to roll another of my tables that I made. Which is armed. Armed with. Now, some of these things I don't think he would have, but some of these things I do think would work. Let me zoom in. Again, going for the flavor of Boskets Banks. We'll see. We've got a couple of more specific options for armaments here, like big spoon, fishing line, nettles, a cold, harsh words. So I am just gonna roll a d20. If I don't think he would have some of these things, I'll just roll again. 18 is a straight razor. Would he carry a straight razor? Probably not. I use a gay razor. You have to use a different. You have to use a different one. When you declare your sexuality, you can't use a straight razor to shave if you're not straight. That's just how it works. Alright, I'm gonna roll another one. 12. Fishing line. I'm gonna say yes, that he does have the fishing line. I'm gonna write that where I think that would be something he uses to... It doesn't work otherwise, exactly. It's just like you try to shave and the hair just is like, no. Okay, so he is gonna come after Cass with that fishing line, and he's not trying to, like, kill him, obviously. He's just trying to tie them up. Line, singular. Alright. Riching ties up, because 18 absolutely would hit. Ties up Cass with fishing line, which leaves Ratchet trapped in the bathroom, or whatever this little room is. I'm just gonna give myself, it is a bathroom, I'm gonna say. I'll just put like a little toilet there and a little sink there. Maybe this is like an employee's locker bathroom, but Cass got taken out immediately. Now Ratchet is stuck in a bathroom with an orderly that probably suspects that she's up to no good. How does she get out of this? Are we winning? No, I wouldn't say that. Our character has gotten themselves wrapped up in a scheme that has her trapped in an asylum bathroom. All because she wanted to borrow somebody's lighter. Alright, but what is Ratchet gonna do? Is she gonna try and find a way to escape? Is she gonna try and talk her way out of it? Is she gonna look for something to defend herself with? I'm gonna say it's more likely that she is just going to try and escape. This is already a lot. Ratchet tries to escape. So what I'm gonna do to try and figure out if she even is able to is go back to the dungeon generator, and I'm going to roll for the bathroom to see how many exits it has. So 13 is... Oh, it's a circular bathroom. Fancy. So I'll just make that circular with D4 exits. Okay. Where are all the D4s? Alright, here's... As long as it's not 1, she has an immediate means of egress. So here we go. That's a 4. How does this circular bathroom have 4? I mean, it could be like a window. Okay, so let's say we have the door to come in. Is this like a bathroom that leads into a shower maybe, and that's one of the exits? That there's like a little shower connected to this? Since I'm saying that this is like an employee, the first room is like an employee locker room. They need somewhere to wash off after a long day. There's a bathroom connected to a shower. So that's 2. I'll say then either there's a vent or there's a window. Alright, if there's a window, that means that they're above ground. So they'd be just ground level. If I was the actual DM and I had like an actual asylum dungeon, I would be very sad if my players were like, "Oh, we're just going to leave." But in terms of storytelling, does this character have enough reason to try and stay in this building? So the choice I'm trying to figure out is if Ratchet has the option of escaping out the window and leaving the whole situation versus going into a vent and still trying to help Cass, what would she choose? And I'm gonna go to the Oracle, but I'm gonna say it's highly unlikely that she takes the vent exit. So my question's going to be, does she go for the vent? And that will be a -5. I don't think she would, but you know, the dice will decide. That's a 20. Okay. So that's a yes. She does. She wants to help, I guess. There's maybe part of Ratchet that is kind of curious, and maybe there's just something about like the fevered dreams that she's been having that maybe she feels like being in an asylum isn't the worst direction to go. I'm going to add, I think this role has kind of decided something about Ratchet's character, which I'm going to say that she is very curious. She's very nosy. I mean, that's probably what's gotten her on this path as well, that she had these strange fever dreams to begin with, and she decided this means something, and I'm going to pursue this instead of just being like, I'm sick, I'm gonna rest in bed. So there we go. She's going into the vent. Now, is this a vent that's going to just lead to the shower next door? Or is it something that's going to get her over this room? Drop bear ambush. She just falls from the roof and is like, ha! Yeah, I'm gonna, hmm. I don't have a D3, but I wanna see, does the vent lead to the shower, the locker room, or a different room? And I'm gonna say if it's a 1 or a 2, it's the shower. 3 is locker room. And a 4 is a different room. So let's see. Whoop, whoop, don't drop the D4. Oh. Alright, that leads to the shower, which doesn't help her too much, but it probably means that she's not there when Riching gets in there. Ratchet takes the vent to the shower room. And that would be her turn. Would Cass be able to get out of the fishing line? I believe that's a +3 for Cass on a dex. Just see. That's a 6. So a 9? Probably not. Cass struggles in the fishing line. Alright, Riching. I don't know if Ratchet would have even locked the door, because she wasn't anticipating things to immediately go bad. And this is a new situation for her. She's not being super cautious. So I'd say Riching just bursts into the bathroom. But she is in the shower room now. So now, let's see if there's maybe anything helpful in the shower room. Maybe there's someone taking a shower. That might be something to deal with. So I'm just gonna roll on contents, which is actually the D100. That's gonna be the big concern. 1, 2, got a shower for you. 3, 4, got a locker store. 27. Oh no. So that's the same as prior, but 27 gets us a level appropriate hard encounter. So there is someone taking a shower in there. I'm gonna say, do I want to roll, or do I want to have it like it's literally the same shaped guy? It's fun to roll, so I'm gonna, maybe it's gonna be someone of a stature that Ratchet could attempt to intimidate. Probably not, but we'll try. We shall try. So who has she just interrupted their shower? Fifth. Well, that should be a 5, but 15 Oh, it's another long neck. Everyone has a long neck. Okay. It's not like someone related to Cass, is it? What are the chances that, like, this is who Cass is looking for and they just happen to be taking a shower? I'm gonna say it's not very likely, but let's roll for it. Cats the musical? Long necks, perfect for stabbing. She does not at present have a stabbing implement. Unlikely. Is this who Cass was looking for? -3. 11. So that's a no. It's a no, but. No, but. Maybe they're singing super loud, and that's why they haven't immediately been alerted to the kerfuffle going on. So Ratchet could hypothetically sneak away? Probably a low likelihood of that, but she at least has the drop on this person. I think with the clue, loot, random, and secret door, because if there's another way for her to get out of here, she's gonna be looking for that for sure. Those are all at 30%. So I'm going to roll a d10 for each of those. No, but it's just a negative yes and. Basically. Huh. So does she find some kind of clue either to her main quest of trying to find a patron or a way to deal with the sickness, which I guess is kind of a dual quest, or something like maybe a set of keys that will help her get to other rooms? So let's see. We want under a 30. Oh, well, that's a 90, I'm pretty sure. So that's going to be a no. No clue. Do we find any loot? Which, in a shower room, I don't know, just like a nice bottle of shampoo is like a good smelling soap. That's an 85, so no. I mean, there maybe is, there's probably some soap, but, you know, that's not really what we're looking for here. That's a 66, so no on the random table. And then secret door. Oh, that is a 00 and a 3. So there is a secret door. Shampoo isn't supposed to smell good. It's not? Alright, secret door. So there's a secret door. That's probably bad that there's a secret door in the shower room. That tells me someone's being really seedy in this asylum. Someone's been watching the orderlies shower, which either it's management or a patient that's managed to escape and used that to spy on people in the showers. Either way, not great. Big old peeping Tom, yeah. But that's a D6, which is a 3. Secret door opens to a passage. Okay. Plus 40 to passage content rolls. Alright. What What would the secret door in the shower room be? Like, is it just you lift up some tiles and there's a little hatch, or a window that isn't to the outside, or another grating? What the first thing that comes to mind is the 90s It miniseries where Tim Curry is Pennywise, like stop motion animation opens up the drain in the floor and peeks his head out. And it's not that, but how do you remember that? How do you not remember that? It's Tim Curry in a clown makeup showing up in a shower by evil space clown magic. Maybe there's. Because well, there you go. You haven't seen it. There's like some kind of little alcove that, I don't know, it just looks like a spot for you to put your soaps and things that actually opens up into a passageway, which I don't really have. I'll probably just have to like redraw this dungeon, because I immediately just put myself into a little corner and everything has a dozen exits that I have no room for. Alright, but there's a secret door in the shower room. The alcove opens into a passageway. That's not passageway. There was a plus 42 contents of the passageway. Where is this passage going? What does it lead to? That's a 20. The non-Euclidean asylum. It's an insane asylum, but not because the people there are insane, but because the asylum is insane. It is arranged in such a bizarre fashion. Alright, 16. Passage widens. 1d6 divided by 2. Minimum width 10. Okay, so just there's a small passage that goes outwards. Is this passage on the same level as the ground floor? Oh, that was an 11, which is a yes, but put our bathroom shower combo here. I said this is where that was. Got a passage widening. Every stream, Blair has to drop a reference to an obscure film she is too young to know about. Well, one, it's not a film. It's a miniseries. And two, with the power of the internet and reruns on TV and such, I can watch anything. Also, I'm pretty sure it came out in the 90s, which at the time I absolutely 100% would never have watched, because I was far too much of a scaredy cat to even consider watching the scary clown thing. But that doesn't mean I couldn't have. But I probably would not have the affection for clowns that I do if I had scarred myself watching it in the 90s. Actually, nerd a bunch. I know. You got me there. All right. Another question I have, which I think is also going to be a 50-50. Who made this passage? Was this passage made by a patient, or was it made by someone else? So I'm going to ask, did a patient make this passage? That is a 7. So no, a patient didn't make this passage. That, I think, is actually more upsetting that it wasn't a patient, because at least a patient making a secret passage in or out of a shower room could have just been trying to escape. Like, oh, I'm gonna get into this employee shower room. I'll turn on the shower so they won't bother me, and then I'll be able to make like this little getaway. Maybe, like, I can see that also being a motivation, in which case it's not creepy. But the fact that it isn't made by a patient is far more troubling. So my next question is, was this passage made by a higher up? Question mark. And I'm going to say that's very likely, because the alternative is either it was made by an employee or that it's made by a completely separate entity. I would assume trysts and fraternizing, or spiriting away employees for nefarious deeds. Yeah, there could also be the people sneaking out of the showers in order to canoodle. That is entirely possible as well. Alright, was this passage made by a higher up? Well, since you said that, Fox, I'm gonna say, I was gonna say it was very likely. Now I'm gonna leave it at the 50-50, because maybe it is just a little saucy getaway that employees made. But maybe it is someone spying on employees. So, oh, that's a 1. So, no. No and. No and. Don't tell me there's somebody in here too. Pizza time. And it's pizza time. What time is it? It's pizza time. What time is it? It's pizza time. Is the person in the shower singing so loud because they're actually covering for someone who's canoodling in the secret passageway? Oh, jeez. Everyone's just misbehaving. It is kind of hilarious, though. What if the employee that just lives in the walls, like the goth guy from the It crowd, or no, something or other? I would be upset that he lived in the shower. I would not appreciate that. Is this a the boy situation? No ands. I'm gonna ask if this is a the boy situation, which if you don't understand what that means, too bad. I'm not gonna explain it. Is this a the boy situation? Is there some kind of nasty creep just hanging out? I never saw The Boy, but I had it spoiled for me. Oh, that's that's the good part of The Boy. It's very kind of slow and boring in the beginning, and then when you get to the twist of the movie, for me, that made it all worth it. Oh, not live in the shower. This is just their way to the shower from their normal wall stuff. I don't know anything about The Boys. Oh yes. Also, to clarify, not the show, not the like twist on superheroes show. There's The Boys, which is the superhero show, and then there's the horror movie The Boy, singular, just the one boy. Just the one boy actually. Um which has the conceit of a woman being hired to nanny a doll. This is a singular boy situation. So there's someone, not a patient, who made this passage and is either living in the walls or just has their own ways of moving through. Although, since I said it's a the boy situation, there's someone living in the walls, which in this insane asylum seems appropriate, I suppose. They're not a patient. They probably are mentally unwell, but they might also work here. Ratchet has escaped to this pathway, this passage. Is the passage empty? Is going to be a very good question. Seven. Nope. Okay, so our boy is in here. Well then let's roll some features. Let's roll some features for our boy. Who may not be a literal boy, but let's just see. Resident features. If they look like a creepypasta character, that would be very appropriate, but let's see. I'm gonna roll twice on this. Oh, I should have chose the other D10, but 11. Facial scar, good start. Okay, an 8 and an 8, which is 16. Skinny arms. A facial scar and skinny arms. Perfect for reaching in from tiny cracks in the wall. Okay, what is the name of our wall dweller? 696. Their name is Crud. Crud, who lives in the walls. Ferdinand Crud. That's actually kind of... Don't give him an adorable name, although I may enjoy that juxtaposition. Ferdinand Crud. I like Ferdinand Crud. He kind of sounds like a Dickens character. Fantastic. So, our main character Ratchet is trying to avoid being caught by an orderly. She's escaped into a shower where someone was showering. She found a secret door leading to a secret passage where a facially scarred, long armed person named Ferdinand Crud is there. No thanks, I choose life. Okay, so this feels like a silly question to ask, but is Ferdinand friendly? Is she going to find a secret ally in Mr. Crud? I'm gonna leave it to the giant bull. Oh, see, now if Ferdinand the bull was in here, that would be delightful because he's a very sweet, nice bull. That's an 11. So, yes? Yes, but? Yes, but? Yeah. Yeah. Yes, but they're a crazy person living in the walls of this shower. Okay. She found a wall pervert. How do we proceed from here? Is a good question. So, a facial scar and long. Well, it doesn't say long. They could have short, skinny arms. They could be like a T Rex. But I. No, I think I'm imagining someone who's a little more like a creepy pasta character and has just long, skinny arms. I think like Fred the barber from Courage with the long, skinny arms. Return to Blair fashion with bigger grippers that are long, lanky return to fashion with bigger, like long, tapering limbs. It looked like that one enemy from. Okay, they're not. They're still. They're not a creature. They're a person, but they're definitely creepy. Naughty. Ugh. Yeah. I'm just gonna, for now, because I can't decide on what the facial scar is. I'm I'm just gonna have him have a bunch of bandages. I don't know, maybe it's like a leprosy situation where they're not like cuts, but like abscess scars. I don't know. We have a friend. We have a wall friend. Fantastic. He's friendly, so he's hypothetically willing to help. Willing to help Ratchet on this ridiculous quest. He's like, oh no, he's not a Tumblr sexy man, is he? I gotta roll. Think Fred the Barber with slender body and skinny limbs, but hands are bigger than you'd think, and the fingers are long and lanky. Like the quintessential Tumblr sexy man. Sure. That are like salad fingers. Except they're not weird little. Yes. Just. I'm not going to make it so if I roll this, but is Ferdinand Crud a Tumblr sexy man? Is that going to influence my design of this character? It's a 17. Yes. No, no. Maybe, but we're not going down that path right now. We're going down the possibly hand-carved path of Ferdinand Crud exiting the showers. Yes, but? No, it's just yes. I'm just going to write yes, question mark, and I'm not going to write what that is a yes to. If I remember it, if it was funny enough, I will make it so. Otherwise, it just says yes. Does Ferdinand know where Cass's partner is? I'm gonna say if they're spying from the walls, there probably is a good chance. I'll say it's likely. I want to do my own rendition of Ferdinand Crud. Please do. I would love that. 11 plus 3 is yes. Okay. So, yes, Ferdinand knows where Cass's partner is. Well, great. Will he help her find them? I feel like this is less certain, so I'm just going to leave that at a 50-50. Will they help? The answer is no. He doesn't like to leave, perhaps. Or doesn't feel like it. I don't know. He's a weird pervert that lives in the walls. Or maybe the partner is somewhere that's difficult to get to, maybe potentially dangerous. I'm gonna ask, is that because, or just, is Cass's partner, who I'm going to roll a name for so that I don't have to say Cass's partner, are they somewhere dangerous? So, is blank being held somewhere dangerous? Question mark. So 14 is yes. Okay. So that, he's in the walls. He's in the goddamn walls. That nasty pervert. Okay. So they're being kept somewhere that's dangerous. For what reason, we don't yet know. But pausing that, what is the name of Cass's partner? And if it's Cass again, if it's Crud, oh, that'll be like rolling a 100 that the partner is actually this weirdo with the walls. That would be hilarious. Otherwise, let's see what their name is. A 42. I don't think so. Trip. All right, Trip. Cass and Trip. It's like, oh, I'm looking for Cass's partner. Can you help me? Random man I found behind the showers? No, I can't help you because you've already found them. Hooray! No. All right. So Trip is being held somewhere dangerous. Why is it dangerous? I'm going to roll on the keywords table to try and figure out where Trip is being held. So let's see. I will roll twice here. $61 and 53. Guide. Eve. Guide Eve. I have kind of a roundabout idea. When I put Eve in there, I kind of meant it as like evening. But guide Eve together. Who tricked Eve into biting the apple in the Bible? The serpent. So the room is dangerous because there's a serpent in it, or there's something to do with snakes. Why are you being kept in a snake room? Ugh, and what more terrifying prospect for a rat girl than going to a snake room? Here's what I'm gonna say. Unless anyone has a better idea of how to make those disparate things work, I think Trip is being tested on by injecting with various venoms. So maybe Cass is just trying to rescue their partner. Maybe they're trying to find antidotes? Is this somehow connected to the illness? Ooh, that's a good question. Is this connected to, and I didn't think of a better name for it, but bridge sickness? Question mark. I'm gonna leave that at a 50-50. And that is another 17. So yes, this is. They're trying to figure out if the sickness is caused by venom or if venom is a potential cure. We don't have that information, but yes. Okay. Interesting. So the asylum is trying to figure out how to deal with bridge sickness using snake venoms, or maybe just venoms in general. Interesting. I've been going for I think that's a good place to wrap up, honestly. We've got kind of a good, not exactly cliffhanger, but like a good hook for this story of Ratchet, who's trying to figure out how to deal with this bridge sickness, and she kind of stumbles in to this asylum and then finds out, because she's just so dang nosy, that they are actually trying to figure out a cure, hypothetically, that they're testing on patients to try and figure out, to try and study the bridge sickness, which is, of course, not what they're supposed to be doing here. They're supposed to be helping people, but this is an insane asylum in the sense that it does not work as it is supposed to. Well, that is delightful, and honestly, I would love to continue the adventures of Rat Girl, who now has a name, Ratchet Purslane. But we've been going for a good bit. I've got some kitties to feed, so let's go sneak a peek at Twitch and see who we can raid into. Shall we?